Yes, Clubhouse came because I was DM'd back in the day in 2020. It went viral. Basically, Clubhouse went viral. It was birthed at the right time during COVID, during the pandemic. We all globally experienced this together. Dawn was alone in her house with a mask. She can't leave. I'm doing the same thing. The same person in Mexico, the same person in Kenya, the same person in Poland. We all a shared, relatively, right, experience of trauma, of loneliness, of our families passing away. So my point is, a Clubhouse, you could only get on if you had an invite. And I was DM'd by this friend. I'm like, forget it. DM'd by another friend, forget it. One of my friends, Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First, some of your audience may know that book, he DM'd me, Ramon, check out this Clubhouse. And that caught my interest. Mike Michalowicz, he's on Clubhouse, this new thing. And then one more friend DM'd me. I got my invite. I bought an iPad from Amazon just to go on Clubhouse. And that was my birth to testing it out. Finding Breakfast with Champions, which was founded by Glenn Lundy, as you may remember that name, who was doing this programming and bringing us all together. And today it's still going on. So that's how I was introduced to Clubhouse, by getting a DM, a text, an invite. Ramon.
Hello and welcome to Black Economics TV. We have with us today Ramon Ray from America. He is an international speaker and host. He's somebody that can liven up any event. He was also a host of this amazing Clubhouse show that was held every morning during the pandemic. That's where I first came across him. And funnily enough, 4 or 5 years later on, we bumped into each other again on X, formerly Twitter. So welcome, Ramon. It's so lovely to have you. Thank you for agreeing to speak with us.
Don, thank you for having me. It is so beautiful how you show up, the people you've impacted. So thank you for having me. And it is ironic, right? From Clubhouse many years ago to today to X and in between. So it's wonderful how two amazing people can join together again. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
And I must let the audience know how we connected again. You were making a comment around something happening on Clubhouse, and I didn't realize that you'd pick up my comment, but I made a comment saying, "Oh, is Clubhouse still going?"
That's
Because
right.
remember, Clubhouse was all the rage during the pandemic. This is how people were connected because we were all stuck at home. And there were a few times I remember listening to the show called Breakfast of Champions. And this was held every morning. I thought, wow, these people have real stickability. And there were some amazing stories that were coming out of that show. And so for you to mention it again recently and for me to say, well, is it still going? Because, a lot of people have moved on since. And then you responded, which I was shocked. I was like, oh, he responded. And he said, yes, it sure is. And then you sent me a DM, which I thought was lovely. And we connected. And
Yes,
I've got to say that Ramon is very, very responsive. Anybody out there in the world, if you want to actually connect with him, within the next half hour, he will have responded. I don't know how he manages to stay so positive in terms of all his responses. I've got to say, he's just amazing. So,
thank you.
tell us what you do. From your perspective, what do you do? What's the height of your achievements right now?
Sure. Today I do two things. How I make my money is another way to put it. Is one, I'm a motivational keynote speaker. So brands hire me to ensure their events are never, ever boring. So motivational keynote speaker
and or event host. My clients have been AT&T, Verizon, Microsoft, Dell, you name any of the major tech companies, the Salesforce, I've probably been on their stage at some point. And also business-focused events, meaning I can do a broad range, but it leans toward business events, trade associations. There's an event in the USA called Aspire Tour. They've had about 2,000, 1,000 people on it, where many of the icons of American business have been, our Shark Tank and things like that. So been on many stages. So motivational keynote speaker is one. And then I'm the publisher of zoneofgenius.com. And then that is kind of the influencer marketing, sponsored content world, doing events and podcast content, articles, blogs, and then how you monetize that. A sponsor may pay you this or that to reach your audience. So those are the two broad things Ramon Ray does: motivational keynote speaking, and then a publisher of a online publication and a variety of content working with our partners and brands. That's what I do.
Okay, so is the Zone of Genius, is that like a magazine, an online magazine,
Correct.
or
Online blog
yeah?
publication, content place. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay. So let's go back a bit then. Let's talk about how you got here. Tell me about, your early life, maybe
Sure.
previous things that you did in your career. Tell me.
Yeah, happy to. So, ignoring when I was a toddler and all those things, but moving up when I was a young man. I'm 52 today as we speak, and my one of my professional careers was working at the United Nations. So I was in church one day and talking to one of the ladies in my church. I said, I'm kind of not sure if I'm going to start college now or not. I was about 19, 20, 17, I don't remember, something like that years old. And she said, hey, you can apply to work at the United Nations. They hire extra people, what some of your audience, Don, may know as the General Assembly, they call it, where the delegates, heads of state from around the world convene at the UN every year. And they hire extra people to do a variety of things, extra security. And they have by the way, people don't know the United Nations has its own firefighter team, everything they hire, secretaries and a whole bunch of people. So I
Mm.
applied and eventually got the job. I didn't get it the first time. I prayed and got the job the second time. So worked there part-time, and then eventually I was hired full-time, Don, and I had over 10 years of working at the United Nations.
Oh,
While
wow.
there, though, is where I discovered discovered the internet. This would have been the early 90s. Some of your audience may know CompuServe, Prodigy, AOL,
Yes.
these types of services. The Mozilla browser, not Mozilla, Netscape browser was very new. We had Alta Vista, just to give people a flavor of the timeline. So bottom line, I worked at the United Nations, Don, and worked there for many years, and started some side hustles. A small computer consulting business, bought my first domain name, smallbiztechnology.com. Eventually, I sold that business. I sold 3 businesses, but that's my early days, working at the UN, learning technology, and I can go in depth in that if you like, but learning technology. And I'll be done here in a minute, and then that's where, as I was building blogs on the side, Inc. magazine approached me and Black Enterprise around the same time and said, can you write for us? And they
Oh,
said, we'll pay you a
wow.
dollar per word. Yeah. And I'm like, a dollar per word? That sounds cheap. But then they're like, can you write 3,000 words, 2,000 words? I'm like, oh, so that is a precursor to me understanding the world of content monetization. And then the last story I'll share is similar thing happened with my speaking. It could have been Inc. as well, or some brand, someone like yourself, it could have been, people see you and they say, hey, what's your fee to speak? My fee? What do you mean my fee? And that's, again, the world of learning that people pay people to speak. So that's the summary of my story. Again, this has been a 20 something year journey. I've been doing this for a while, but the world of speaking, the world of content in some way, blogging, podcast, events, this is my journey.
Okay. So you were asked about your speaker's fee. Can I ask about your speaker's fee now? What do you typically
Absolutely.
get paid?
Yeah, sure. It depends on who it is, and everything is flexible. And I say that because I'm going to say the fee, but people might say, so I can go around just saying that number to everyone. No, 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 no. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But my speaking fee has been, and it's changing because of the economy, it has been $25,000 to entertain, to host. And this is for some of the biggest brands, Dell and Microsoft, because trust me, when they're hiring Brene Brown, Damon John, Gary Vaynerchuk, They're paying them 150. They're paying them 120. They're paying them 80,000. They have the 3-camera crew, 10,000 people in Las Vegas. So the context is a bit different. Now, for a different brand, typically they may say, Ramon, we have a budget of 10,000, 15,000, and we can negotiate from there. So, but my fee that I say without stuttering is 25,000 because it's the experience I deliver. When they have an event that they want people on their feet, they want them to feel amazing, I guarantee we'll deliver that experience.
Oh, wow. Well, we can see that you're quite animated, and I would imagine that, yes, any event with you hosting would be fascinating. People
I
would be
try.
looking forward to you coming back to the stage, never mind the speakers.
Done. That is exactly what I try to deliver. Meaning, as now, if I'm hosting, I definitely don't overshadow. My job, if you were a speaker, Dawn, and I'm hosting, my job is to bring Dawn on, make her feel loved, to transfer my energy, get the audience on their feet, welcoming, depending on where you're at on the screen, welcoming Dawn. So as host, that's my job. Now, as a keynote speaker, I have my 45-hour, 90 minutes, whatever it is, solo speaking, similar energy, but different way to use it because I'm just there for 45 minutes, 90 minutes, and I'm gone. So just wanted to, as I'm educating the audience, 2 different types of tools to use for 2 different types of situations. One is hosting for 2 or 3 days, which I do. And then, or both I've done too. Ramon, just keynote, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and off you go. So.
Okay. All right. And you're actually coming to London soon, aren't you?
I am. I can't wait. Excited to go there and speak at an event. I'm happy to say the name, but speak at an event there. And then I think I'm going to join you as well. So I'm excited to serve with you as
Yes.
well.
Yes, indeed. Okay. So give us an idea about your side hustle journey and how you develop this into a business. Because we know that when you are working and running a small business at the side, it's not easy in terms of time constraints. So how did you manage that?
I'll give one example. Many of your audience may know the brand GoDaddy, global domain name registrar. Did you know I interviewed the founder of GoDaddy? His name is Bob Parsons in a hotel a few floors below where I worked. So imagine
Wow.
Ramon was a secretary, an administrative officer serving. My job, by the way, at the United Nations was to be an admin officer in an office, meaning that means not the programmatic side of feeding kids and war and all that, but running an office. You know, as you may know, Don, any proper office, you need that admin. Hey, we need to have an intern program. We need security, passes, petty cash, change the carpets, any admin things we need, to service the office. So I was managing that, an office manager in essence. So point being is that while they're working hard, going into work at 8, 9, leaving at 6, 5, 7, good work I did there day to day, is where I started to blog. So I discovered the internet and started my first blog, smallbiztechnology.com, which is existing today, 20 years later, but I sold it. Yeah, it's still live. People can go there. It's not mine, but smallbiztechnology.com is still existing. So the point is, though, how I did the side hustle was just building blogs for myself, publications, putting out content, and then a brand would say, oh, could you interview us? Could we be on your blog? You interview them. And then you have the relationship and say, hey, listen, I'm having an event. This is a real story. I also did events called the Small Business Summit. I did that over 10 years with hundreds of people each year, and I sold that too. So basically, it's building relationships as a side hustle at the UN. So I can remember, Dawn, for example, let me get more clear. I think I'm getting off track. But as a side hustle, the point is you have your full-time job, taking lunchtime to go to Midtown Manhattan and do a quick event and leave, or early morning, or taking
Wow.
leave. Hey, I need to take 2 days, 3 days leave off while I do X, Y, Z. So that's how I managed it until there was a colleague of mine, a staff member that was very, very jealous of me. And he made it very difficult for me to do that, had a lot of issues. And at the United Nations, you have to have permission to have a side hustle. And I had permission. But eventually, because he made a big stink about it, he was very jealous. They revoked the permission. But I had a
Oh,
taste of it, Don. I was
yeah.
already well into my side hustle. And eventually I was fired from the United Nations, or my contract wasn't renewed. That's really what happened. And And I had about 5 months of money from a big contract I just had. And the company's name was Campaigner. You can look them up. They're probably still today, called Campaigner, an email marketing company. And they had given me a good chunk of money to do some content for them. And after I was fired, I had to just make it work. No more free gigs. I would tell my sponsors, got to pay me. And here I am in 2025 talking to the amazing Don Grant.
Oh, that's very sweet of you.
Of
Okay,
course.
so that's really good. How long did it take before you were able to match your salary and pass your salary once you finish work?
That I don't know because I've never even all these years match and pass. Maybe I didn't pass the salary, meaning for me being able to pay myself in the Northeast, 100,000, 150,000, 120,000. People think the entrepreneurship is all about millions and millions. Yeah, that's the upper crust of people, and that happens. But for me, Dawn, the biggest joy being able to pay myself a good salary, meaning I do pay myself a salary. It's a side note, but it's not, I don't mix accounts, which I'm sure you teach your people a side note, side accounts, and pay proper
Mhm.
taxes and all these. So being able to pay myself a regular salary over the last over 15 plus years, Dawn, raising two kids, two adult children, flying all over the world on stages with my wife, being in India, Singapore, Malaysia, coming to London, all over the US, staying in great hotels and flying in planes. I'm so blessed that I've been able to do that with my own business. Um,
Mm.
and so the next journey for me, sure. Will I become a multimillionaire one day? Maybe. But for me, yes, I think I wouldn't say it happened immediately to match or exceed my salary, but in a way, I think it did because that one contract, as I said, when I left the UN, that's what fed us. Meaning every month, my wife would say, Ramon, I took out, say, 5,000, took out another 5,000, took out another 5,000. So I had a little bit of runway where I had to go to the brands and say, hey, you want me to speak? Hey, you want me to sponsor something? And made it happen.
Okay, fantastic. How did you end up getting involved with Clubhouse?
Yes, Clubhouse came because I was DM'd back in the day in 2020. It went viral. Basically, Clubhouse went viral. It was birthed at the right time during COVID, during the pandemic. We all globally experienced this together. Dawn was alone in her house with a mask. She can't leave. I'm doing the same thing. The same person in Mexico, the same person in Kenya, the same person in Poland. We all a shared, relatively, right, experience of trauma, of loneliness, of our families passing away. So my point is, Clubhouse, you could only get on if you had an invite. And I was DM'd by this friend. I'm like, forget it. DM'd by another friend, forget it. One of my friends, Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First, some of your audience may know that book. He DM'd me, Ramon, check out this Clubhouse. And that caught my interest. Mike Michalowicz, he's on Clubhouse, this new thing. And then one more friend DM'd me. I got my invite, and I never forget. I bought, and this is where, because right in the pandemic time, I bought a lot of new equipment because we had to do stuff online. That pushed much of us to being online. But I bought my first iPad. I never had, I don't use Mac. I bought an iPad from Amazon just to go on Clubhouse. And that was my birth to trusting it out, finding Breakfast with Champions, which was founded by Glenn Lundy, as you may remember that name, who was doing this programming and bringing us all together. And today it's still going on. So that's how I was introduced to Clubhouse, by getting a DM, a text, an invite. Ramon, there's this cool app. You should join it. And I
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Glenn Lundy, that's interesting. What does he do?
Glenn Lundy is a auto dealer trainer. He trains auto dealers and how to scale their dealerships.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this was a side hustle for him initially.
I wouldn't say it. I'd say it was a dual hustle, meaning he's a motivational speaker as well. He's written books.
Oh,
And
is
so
he?
it's kind of a mission, his main forte, yes, is, but meaning when you work for yourself, I think when you have a regular corporate job, anything else you do is a side hustle. But I think that as an entrepreneur, I have a variety of revenue streams. I don't consider them side hustles. I'm a multi-venture person. Let's say you and I, Don, if we do business together and build something in London, something in the UK, who knows? Do I consider a side hustle? No, it's a partnership. I have a new
Yeah.
friend. You build trust with Don, and how do we add value? So that's how I knew what you meant, but I would, for him, Glenn Lundy, just to help with the audience, side hustle, maybe, but it more so it's all part of his platform.
Okay. So eventually you took it over, didn't you? That Clubhouse program, Breakfast with Champions.
I took a what? What'd you say? Took a?
Eventually you took over
Yes, yes,
Breakfast
that's
with
right.
Champions.
Mhm,
Tell
mhm.
us
Yeah.
about that.
Sure. One day, I don't remember when it was, could have been 3 years ago to today, a couple years ago, or 4 years, not sure. But Glenn Lundy called me. I was on my balcony upstairs. He said, Ramon, I've been praying about it, and I feel God is telling me to give you over what I've built. Not Clubhouse. Clubhouse is an app owned by other people, but give
Yeah,
you
yeah.
this entity, Breakfast with Champions, which was an email list, website, and the programming. And I was already very much involved. And yes, I took over Breakfast with Champions, helped to, I consider it kind of like the Olympics, which I've never been. They have the torch they light or a baton in a race. Um, he gave me the baton, gave me the torch, and I carried it forward. And then about a year or 2 years ago, something like that, I don't remember, I gave the baton to a colleague of mine, Mary Lynn Wilkin, who, like me with Glenn, she was very active in the community with others who were working there. Not working, we're all volunteers, but building the community. And I said, Mary Lynn, it's time for me to move on as well. And because running it can be very time consuming, very it's not easy, to run it in the community and all this. And she said, Ramon, I've been in the community, I get it, and I would love to carry the torch on. And here we are today.
Okay. Does it run every morning?
Yes, every morning at 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have what we call, I don't like the name so much, but we have what we call our UK room of people who, Marvin Reed, Shirlene, and some others who you may know, they start the room at 4 a.m. Because for them it's more convenient, 4 a.m. their afternoon or your afternoon, you know what I mean? And then we have the main room, which again, I don't like because it's all a room, but 5 a.m. is where we start the US, as it were, programming. We leave the British accents fade away and the American accents come in.
Okay, yeah, because 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is about 9 a.m. here.
That's right.
Right. And then when it's 5 a.m. with you, it's 10 a.m. here. And then
Mm-hmm.
it goes on to about midday, doesn't it?
That's right. Mm-hmm. I think the programming is even now kind of changing, but 10, 11, something like that, I think. It used to go on to 1 or 3 long, many rooms, but it stops at about, it's 3 or 4 hour programming, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I suppose a lot of networking has happened because of that, would you say?
I think so. It's a mishmash of, for me, I'm on there even today at times because I'm lonely. I wake up again. I'm not working in corporate America. Hi, Mark. Hi, Joey. How are you? Oh my God, did you see the game? Oh, how are your kids? Oh, that's nice. You should come over sometime. And I'm lying. Oh my God, politics, whatever you want to. I'm here. It's me. I'm human. God has made us all the same. I want to hear voices and I need to be loved. And I mean, I have a wife and kids, but you know what I mean? Like day to day. So Clubhouse provides that to me. I can put my headphones on, hear voices, people chatting and talking. And it's different than a podcast. It's live. So,
Mm.
so yes. So it goes on to today, and yeah.
Okay, so we've done a little bit of advertising for that program on Clubhouse, so people should check it out. And
Sure.
I don't know if there's a link to it, but
If they
I'll put.
download the Clubhouse app, that's the first thing they need to do. Many people may not even have the Clubhouse app, but download the Clubhouse app, and then you'll just find Breakfast with Champions in the directory somewhere. Yeah.
And it's a lot of Black people who are on it, African Americans and others, but also some other nationalities and races as well, would you say?
Oh yeah, half and half. There's it's I think 30%, 40% Black Americans, UK, Black UK as you define it, and then yes, many white Americans or other nationalities. But it's a good mix for sure. And I think part of that, we like to think the world is colorblind, but Glenn Lundy himself, he has some jokes about his own. He's mixed race, Black mother, white father. And so I think not only that, but sometimes you tend to be attracted to those who look like you. That's how we are in this life. And so I think that he built a good mix of people of a diverse. And Mary Lynn Wilkin, who I handed it to, she's white. I'm Black. Many of our UK crew, many of them, 4 out of 6 of them are Black, but Jackie, there's many there who are either from Ireland or white, or I don't know what her background is. And yes, in the main room itself, good mix of 50-50 Black and white. Yeah.
Okay. So getting back to small business, it seems like you had a passion for it from very early on. which is great. So I wanted to find out from you, what do you think are the main obstacles to small businesses growing? Maybe give me three or so of the main problems that businesses have and how you suggest that people solve them.
Sure. And I think one that's very important, and I'm learning this, even though I've been in this for over 20 years, before I answer the question, to segment even the type of business. Because I think of somebody who says they have a full-time job and she does real estate on the side. Is she a small business? I won't define it, but meaning just bringing that out for those listening, right? Or you have someone that says, you know what? I'm building the next AI-driven water bottle and I'm getting venture capital funding. They're starting out as a small business, but we know they're scaling. So, and then you have somebody that some companies may say, if it's a $5 million business with 10 people, is that a small business? By many definitions, yes. But then you have someone like me. I'm solo. I'm in a townhouse here. I've built several businesses generating hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue, and I have a small team of 2, 3, 4, 5 freelancers. So just wanted to put that out there. But to answer the question, I think a few things that stop businesses from growing or succeeding, and I don't mean even scaling big, Dawn. I mean even just having recurring revenue. I think a few things. I think one, they don't understand the difference between being the craft person or the talent versus being a business owner. Because you make pies very well, or you braid hair well, or you paint well, doesn't mean you know the art of business. A good painter is the best painter, but to be in business, you may have to know how to hire a few people. Do you know how to send invoices? Do you know the basics of marketing to get the next client? And I know you understand that, Don. So I think that's one, just understanding business ownership, entrepreneurship. It's a game. You got to know how to play that game of just running the basics of business. So that's one. I think number two is mindset. Mindset, Don, can cloud a business's growth in so many ways. Let's say I'm selling to Dawn and I'm selling, this water bottle. I'll hold it up again, this water bottle. Dawn says, Ramon, how much is the water bottle? Dawn, I want to say it's $79. I want to, but I don't believe in myself. I think Dawn can't afford it. And she's my friend and goes to my church and blah, blah, blah. Dawn, it's $79, Don. But I know you can't afford it, Don, so it's $50. But I give you a discount, Don, $40. Don, for you, I'll make it $10. Dawn didn't even open her mouth, and I already reduced the price. You get what I'm saying? All that's because of mindset. That's number two. The mindset can make or break how you are in business. And I think the third thing I'll say is probably we may not think big enough. I think that everybody's different. I don't mean everybody has to build the next Tesla or whatever company you want to put there. But I think that when I say think big enough, I have many friends come to me about speaking. Ramon, what do you think about me charging the company $500 to speak? $500 to Dell or Samsung or AT&T? It costs them more money to print your check for $500. It's a waste of their time and your time. But so they're like, oh, really? Yes. If you're a good speaker, now if you're not good, it's okay. But if you're good, half decent, at least offer them $10,000. Let Dawn come back. Dawn working at a big company and say, Ramon, that's out of our budget. Can we pay you $7,000? You're far ahead than the $500 you were going to charge. So I hope I didn't talk too much, Dawn. I hope that was helpful. But those are some things I see that stop a business from growing.
That's great. That's good. Now, what about informing companies that you exist? What is that you do? What's that magic sauce you have that attracts people to you? Or are you doing outreach and letting companies know that, hey, I'm brilliant, hire me?
Definitely, I don't tell them I'm brilliant, but thank you. I'm going to save that clip and I'm going to play it every morning, Dawn. The Dawn said, I'm brilliant. I'm going to play that clip. By the way, a side note, how is my American accent coming through? I'm always curious because do you think your audience will understand me? Am I speaking too fast? How does it sound to you?
I understand you. Remember, we watch American movies all the time and American series, so we're used to the American accent. I mean, if we wanted to put on the American accent, we'd be very good at it, because we hear it all the time.
Dawn, I love it. But I just thought, So I think as far as how I get brands to notice me, I've been doing this for so long, so many of the brands are aware of Ramon Ray. But I must say, post-COVID, there's been a difference, Don. Even my speaking rates, many companies are no longer paying $25,000 for a keynote. Many of my speaker friends have said they've had to adjust their rates. But the point is that I produce quite a bit of content. I go live on a regular basis. My podcast is out there. My email newsletter's out there. And also, I do sales. I reach out to many brands and say, hey, I'm here. I'm Ramon Ray. How can I help you in your business? So I do proactive outreach, sales, which, by the way, Dawn, side note, I've only been doing that the past month. Over the past 20 years, I've never done sales. I've done marketing. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm here at all the stuff I told you about. But now, when times are tougher, times are rougher, I'm going out in sales. Hey, as an example, not this company, but hey, Burt's Bees. I think it's Burt's Bees. Yeah, Burt's Bees. My name is Ramon. Can I work with you to do a brand campaign about small business and chapstick? Or lip balm. So I'm going out proactively and touching the companies.
Well, I would imagine that if you reach out and they hear what you have to offer, that they're more than likely to say yes, because sometimes it's about the person that they're speaking to, not even so much about what you're offering.
That's
They want to
done.
work with you.
100%. Now, again, to be clear, they're not all saying yes because I'd be a multi-billionaire,
Yes.
but it's a game of follow up, right fit. So yes, but Don, I tell my team that let's say, Don, it was you and you're the head of events at big company X, head of events at BMW. Don, if you're in the right fit and you're doing your event, next year, if I get you on the phone on Zoom and we can talk, we can laugh a bit, be a little friendly, that's my style. Everybody else, I'm not even worried about. You're going to hire me. Not a question about it. Not even a question.
Okay, well, that's a good lesson for people. If you can form a relationship with people who are likely to be doing the buying. Okay, well, that sounded like a really good way to be introducing to people the power of sales. Because I would imagine that you probably have been doing it, but from a marketing perspective before. But
Correct.
to actually go full in on sales is really very important. And the
Yeah.
way that you also speaking to the event organizer a year before the next event, which might be next year.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You
So
got to
not
plant
waiting
seeds.
until a week before. Oh, can I? Yep.
Because by then they've already hired, and you do events, Don.
Yeah.
They've already had even hired. Meaning, not the secret, Don, but I find for people like you and me, even I'm just meeting you, getting to know you, I can imagine. Let's say I want to do an event in the U.S. in New York City called the Small Business Growth Summit. Don, this is my kingdom. I know everybody in the New York area. This is my world. I've been here 30 years. I know everybody. I can fill the event with my friends overnight. So
Hmm.
if you're new, if it's Jenny from Tennessee, Ramon, can I speak at your event? I don't know you. I never heard you speak. So meaning I don't need you to speak. It's where as I get to know you, then maybe I do. You get what I mean? Because events are not easy to, they're easy to fill. Everybody wants to speak. So,
Hmm.
so you got to
Okay.
go ahead of time.
Okay. And you said that you have a podcast. Tell us about your podcast.
So the podcast I have, and again, as a lesson for others, my podcast is just part of everything I do. It's special, but my podcast is intertwined between video articles and all that. So just to, it's not like I'm a podcaster. Some people say it. I produce content across all platforms. But my
Yes.
podcast can span from interviewing people to tip of the day. So it's called the Rundown with Ramon. It's changed names from time to time, but the Rundown with Ramon, and it tips and insights on small business growth. That's the essence of it. From
Okay.
mindset to self sabotage to interviewing executives. So it depends on you know how I feel that day.
Okay. Interesting. Because we've got a few guests who are about to speak about podcasting on
Mhm.
this channel. So they're going to be talking about why start a podcast
Mhm.
and is it actually useful for business? Have you found it useful for business? Has it brought more people into
Yeah.
your sphere?
So let me answer it two ways because I do it way different. But for the typical business owner, let's say she is an architect. Yes, her interviewing homeowners who've had their homes redesigned will attract other people who are looking to have their home design, and then she can be her best sponsor. So yes, in that route. And for me, doing it that way, yes. But for me, the podcast is simply a part of us providing great content to our audience and then working with brand sponsors, not, ooh, can you join my podcast? So I just wanted to say, but to not be confusing, yes, for the average business owner, that's the best way to do it. But talking about my own experience, I use it a bit different. It's just one of many tools for us providing great content for our entire community, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. How is the Black business community working together in New York?
Yeah, a great question. I think it depends on who it is. One of my buddies, and you may know him, Lamar Tyler, is very, very Black business focused. Buy Black, buy Black, buy Black. I'm looking for a Black deli. I want a Black restaurateur. So I think how the Black business community is working in New York, hard to answer it. But are there communities of Black business in the U.S.? Yes. My friend Aisha, she has a community called Sisters in Business. It's 90% Black women. Lamar Tyler's Traffic Sales and Profit. It's all Black business. So on a national level, as you may know, U.S. Black chambers. There's many pockets of businesses that are focused on building Black entrepreneurship. Now, having said that, there's also a number of people, I need a web designer. I'm not looking first Black web designer. I'm going to Upwork.com and hiring the best, cheapest web designer from Asia that I can. So, it depends on the context. In my local community, there's a coffee shop that just opened. They happen to be Black owned, and I'm so happy for him. So, to answer the question, I think I would reverse it as not so much in the New York area, but there are many strong communities which are focused on building Black businesses. Yes, indeed, for sure.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
And I have a thing about saying to Black business owners is that you should be looking to sell to everybody, not just to Black owned businesses.
Correct.
So for instance, if we have people doing fashion or jewelry, we want you to be able to sell on the high street. So, we had a project a few years ago where we were working with one of the major department stores in the UK with a view to getting our businesses into mainstream shops.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things we try to encourage people to look at your audience and look at your sales and make sure you're not just focusing your marketing on one community.
That is correct. That is correct. And having said that, so yes, that's what I preach all the time. And let's face it though, we're in a world of where people can say, I don't look at color. I buy from anyone. I get it, but the actions now, and also a side note, Dawn, how we're raised. I must say I was born in the Midwest. We're the only Black family amongst all white community. My best friend growing up, his name is Tommy Johnson. He's a white kid, white guy, my best friend. So my index, how I grew up, police, the blue uniform is great. That's my Midwest frame of reference. But there's many of our Black brothers and sisters, it could be you, Don, who've grown up, discrimination, pulled down. They've seen racism right in front of them. They were stepped on over at the office. Their point of view, which I fully respect, is like, no, these people here, they're out to get me. So I do respect, even in my own family, all versions of people, especially how your past does impact a bit what you feel comfortable with. And I respect that.
That's right. That's right. How are you finding politics in America right now?
Oh, it's wonderful. There's peace and tranquility. The economy is perfect. Everything is wonderful. We actually every morning we hold hands around the White House and pray, and we just celebrate. Politics in America. You know what? Notwithstanding Democrat and Republican, notwithstanding progressive or conservative, terms we use in the U.S., notwithstanding if you're very liberal, very conservative, that's one type of politics, which has gone on for years, Reagan versus this or whatever the politics may be of the day, high tax, low tax. But for sure, as we all know, President Donald Trump, he has tilted the equation far different than the usual Republican, Democrat, conservative, whatever, the simple things we would debate. High taxes, low taxes, open libraries, or more money, all those things. So politics, yes, I think it's in the U.S., from what I can tell, just reading headlines, it's I think it's more divisive than it has ever been, but also I must say because of the media, the headlines are juicier. Um, things like I'll step into one area, and I know we talked about it offline, but I'll step into one area, firing government workers. When you think of that, do you know how many corporate employees are fired in mass every day? So the headline may sound one thing, but do we need to have the government save money? But then on the other hand, how things are done. People have lives. People, so, between the headline and the reality, who knows? I wake up every day and it's like whiplash, like a
Well,
ping pong,
exactly.
you
You're
know?
not sure what's gonna happen next. As
Yes.
as Jasmine Crockett said, she used to be able to sleep at night, you know?
Yes. The stabilities definitely have changed. So the politics, I think that we will see, and tariffs is the big news of the day. My hope is that President Trump is right, speaking from US centric and that the US is a strong economy, my hope. But markets don't like, and again, black economics, I'm talking to you, markets don't like instability. So regardless of
Yes, they don't.
what happens right or wrong, meaning let's say the tariffs work out and all the countries are back to harmony and everybody's balanced. But the one thing that nobody wants is instability. Hey, Don, let's do it at 8. No, Don, not at 8. No, 8:10. No, Don, sorry, 7:30. No, not Thursday, Friday. Nobody, you can't. Even if I like you, Don, that after a while, that's difficult.
And that's exactly what is happening because you're
Yes.
hearing one set of tariffs, one set of figures, and then
Yes.
2 days later it's different again, and then 3 days later, oh, let's
Yes.
postpone it for 90 days, and
Yes.
markets don't know whether they're coming or going.
But that's exactly why I'm coming to London, Dawn. Don't tell anybody this. I'm coming as a secret ambassador. You and I are going to make sure that London and New York are doing okay. You and I are going to solve it. You and I are going to be, but can't tell everybody. Your leadership, your king and my president, we're there. The secret deal with me and Dawn, we're going to bring peace between UK and America. That for sure.
Well, we're gonna try. We're gonna try. Do you do anything with young people?
Yes. And what I do is not formally, Dawn, but for anyone listening, yes, if you have budget, you're welcome to pay me. But my passion is to speak to young people. I can speak to one or two, sure, but events where there's young people gathered at no cost, my flight and hotel, things like that. But if you have an event where I can change a young person's life, impact young people, I've had some of the best talks. I mean, like tears, like wow, to young people. So my passion is if you have an event for young people, online or in person, I will be there. All I ask is, at the very least, flight and hotel. So if that makes sense. So yes, I have a strong passion. I have 2 adult children. I'm very active in my youth ministry in my church. Very active. I have a group of young men who I call on a regular basis. I would call the ladies too, but it's a little weird, right? A 52-year-old guy calling a 16-year-old girl every week. I'm not going to.
Yeah,
It's a little
yeah.
different.
It's
But
not the
young
done
men,
thing.
yeah, a little different. But the young guys in my life, I call, some are married, some have kids, some are teenagers. I call them, hey, dude, what's going on? How are you? Are you okay? How can I help? How can I, whatever. So yeah, I love young people. And that's not a formal program, but I love speaking to young people.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And I do it very well.
How old are your own children?
So I'm 52, and my son is 30, and my daughter's 26.
Okay, okay. What are they doing?
My son, in fact, lives in Hungary. He's married to a Hungarian, and he's
Oh,
a online marketer. He's an expert in sales, so he's a sales trainer and more for himself. He works for himself. And then my daughter, she was recently married
oh,
about a
nice.
few months ago. Thank you. About 6 months, give or I can't remember, a few months ago, and she was recently moved to the West Coast from the New York area, and she will soon deliver a child.
Oh, wow. You're gonna be a granddaddy.
I am.
Oh, good for you. Good
Yes,
for
thank you.
you. Well, it's good to know what you're doing, and I can see that you can be an impact in so many people's lives. Do you
Thank you.
do coaching at all?
I do not. I want to, Don. And people have asked me when I say I'm not a coach, people like you, when I say like you, my friends, good people who know me a bit, Ramon, stop saying that. You just coached on Clubhouse for 90 minutes straight. You gave us a fire session on personal branding, on speaking, on all the things that I do well. So personal branding, speaking, marketing, sales, how to get publicity, live streaming video. All these are my expertises. I've done it for years. But coaching, you just have to love teaching. It's a different discipline. And I do coach with others. Like if you had a program done, I would join you, say, Ramon, can you show up on Thursday for 30 minutes and talk about this? Or Ramon, show up on Friday, answer questions from my community. Easy. But I do not have my own coaching program. No.
Okay. All right. Give us some publicity ideas.
Sure. Do you want to give me a scenario or should I just riff?
Let's say someone has a new product coming out, a new food product.
Okay, great. You have a new food product coming out, nobody knows about, and you're trying to get some bang for it. Two broad paths. A, if you wish to go national, then I would definitely hit up a lot of the Instagram influencers one-to-one. No, hey, comma, can I work with you? No. Hi, Don. I noticed you're the publisher of Black Economics UK. Wanted to know, can I get a few minutes of your time to introduce you to something? Because I saw that you were having Jello in your feed. Can I talk to you? Do that 50 times, 100 times, whatever it is, and you'll get 10, 20 people that you can send your food to and say, try it. And if you like it, can you talk about it? So that's one simple way, and you can take it from there. If it's local and you want to do something like local, to build bang in the buck, like there's a fire station right down the street from me. I would go to the firehouse, talk to the captain. Captain, listen, I got this new Jello, this new gelatin, ice cream, whatever. It's hot outside. Next month, can I put a table? Come by. All your firefighters and their family, I want to feed them for free. Put some music up, and then you tell the newspaper, guess what? Firefighters get hot. Pun intended, ha, ha, ha. We're going to cool them down with ice cream. Why don't you come by and take some pictures and see it? Mayor, I know you're busy. Mayor, don't you come, Mayor. But why don't you invite your staff, Mayor, to come by the firehouse, Mayor, and get some ice cream and show support, Mayor, to the firefighters. See what I'm doing? Not me. Nah, not me. Quote unquote. Go show support to the firefighters where I will be. So those are two different things. See, off the top of my head, this is what I do well, but I'm not a coach.
That's good. I'm going to give you another scenario. Suppose someone's coming out with a new fashion brand.
Okay. Male, female. And what it kind of, if you wish, or you can leave it at that.
Male.
Okay, male. Okay, I'll leave it at that. So new fashion brand for males. What I would probably do is a similar playbook. What Damon John did well 20, 30 years ago for FUBU, I think it still works. He got high visible people to put on his clothes, put it on, and he didn't even have multiple versions. He took it back from them and shared it with somebody else. So I think that in this day and age, Instagram, TikTok, getting people to, but the key is, Don, it's getting people to, let's say Don and I are strangers. She don't know me. So people, what I'm doing right now, I'm sharing with you. It's not, hi, could you wear my shirt, Don? No. Hey, Don, my name is Ramon. I noticed you have an amazing beige shirt on right now. I got one almost like it. It's a new brand called Zonk. Do you mind if I work with you a bit? If you like it, could you share it? That humble, personal attitude, that gets you a higher yes than just, in your spreadsheet. Hey, can you wear it? Hey, can you wear it? Don, hey, no. So I for men's fashion brand, firm believer in something kind of using Instagram. And I'm also, as I gave the example, the firefighter, getting attention, not illegal, but stepping a little close out of the comfort zone. How can you do it? Oh, men's fashion brand, especially if you have some funding and you can do this. Again, I respect cost. Can you do a fashion show for the homeless? You don't have to do 100, but maybe you get 3 guys. Normally you see them at the YMCA in the soup kitchen. Say, hey, listen, I'd love to dress you from head to toe. Same playbook. Call some of the influencers, put it on video. Imagine that. Tell them to bring their family. Maybe they have a long-lost daughter, long-lost son that they haven't been in touch with. Maybe you can get in touch and you can recreate that moment. It's not just Oprah. You could do it too in that moment of, oh my God, Dad, I haven't seen you in 7 years. Wearing your clothing. That's an idea.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
I love that. All right, let's do one more. a
Don, I
book
think you're
launch.
beginning to like this, Don. There's something
I
stirring
do.
in your
I
mind. You
can
begin to
I
like
can
this.
come up with another 10 scenarios. Okay. How about a book launch, a new book being
I
put
love it.
out to the public?
What's the book about? No, what? No, don't tell me what it's about. Give me the title of the book. Just the title. Don't even tell me what it's about. Make up the title.
Marriage Gone Wrong.
Love it. Marriage Gone Wrong by Becky Amos. It's coming out in 3 months. And Becky don't have a lot of money, right? She don't have a lot of money. She don't have a lot of money. She's a coach, a marriage coach, right?
Well, no, she's not a marriage coach. She's
Okay.
somebody going through a troubled marriage.
Oh, so it's her own life story and she just wants to sell the
Yeah,
book.
yeah, yeah.
I just wanted the
It's a
context because she was a
non-fiction book.
marriage coach. I would have it a little different. So she's wants to tell her story, but she's working at big company X, whatever, but she's written a book. Great. So here's what I would do. You know what I would do? I would probably start a series about all the marriages gone wrong. A whole new series on all the marriages gone wrong. Oh, and what I would do is go to Reddit and Reddit has a group of people. They got these weird stories. My wife introduced me to them. It's not for me, but hey, God bless America and God bless England. So my point is I would find Reddit influencers and say, I got a brand new book coming out. Let me mail you a book and a black rose with each book. And let's talk about it. In my book, you'll find some of the best stories of marriages gone wrong. Would you like to do a show dedicated to this? Marriage Gone Wrong. And you can give your audience a free copy of my book, a free giveaway, and a black rose too. That's what I would do.
Ooh. What's the significance of the black rose then?
Oh, black rose, marriage, usually roses are red, so gone wrong,
It's black.
like something, it could
Okay,
be a
all right.
coffin, just something kind of you know where I learned that? From Seth Godin. For example, Seth Godin, some people may not know him, but Seth Godin is a very popular marketer in the US and globally for some. He came out with a book. So this is his book as an example. One of his books. He's written 20 New York Times bestsellers, but he always
Okay.
includes something fun with it. Chocolate wrapped with the book cover. So I'm all about not just the thing, but the thing of the thing.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And one more.
Please.
Let's say someone is producing a service for businesses and it's an AI service. How would you promote that?
And I have an idea, but that is such a tough one because AI is all over. So the search, the AI, yawn, yet another service. But probably what I would do with that is start with the businesses that you transformed and start with their stories and make AI last. I wouldn't make AI the hero. So let's say it was AI service that helped dogs walk better. I'm making it difficult intentionally, making it weird, something that's weird. So what I would do, is that your dog barking? This dog was barking all day long. In fact, not just this dog, but another dog. And not just that dog, even that dog. Woo, woo, woo. But guess what? We work with Dawn, Jeremy, and Jamelia. And guess what? They stopped their dogs from barking so much. And now all you hear is whoo. All you hear is meow. All you hear is whoo. And you know why? That's because of a new service that we have. But the service even is not so much. It's how they use the service. Click the next video and let me show you what we did to help them. Probably something like that is what I would do.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Because you're right, AI is ubiquitous now, it's everywhere. And everybody and his dog is doing AI.
Exactly.
And then they say to you, oh, there are 500 different AI services. And people are like, oh, they're confused before they even start,
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. That's fantastic. Well, I think you've given us some really good food for thought. Thank you so much.
Did I pass
And
the test? I think that was a test. Did I pass the test?
what test? What do you mean?
That was a Can Ramon do it test. I'm messing with you, Don.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I love the way you think fast on your feet,
Yes. It
Yeah,
was
well,
fun.
thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
we're hoping to have Ramon with us in a couple of weeks' time. He's coming to London, so we've got a gathering of people who are going to meet you in purpose. A gathering of people who are going to meet you in person. and
Yes,
on
indeed.
purpose.
I'm excited about it.
So thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you,
And
Don.
yeah, it's been really enlightening.
Thank you. Thank
Appreciate
you for
it.
all you do, Don. I appreciate it. Good to be here. Thank you so much.
And I look forward to meeting you very soon. You take care.
Bye-bye.